Alrighty, what I want to go ahead and do is look at the 10-2 assignment together. Now, before we do that, I want you to ensure that you have all the formulas ready because there are so many formulas. If you don't have the formulas, I highly encourage you to go back to the notes video or just look at the notes and see all the formulas and when to use each of them. Because for this homework assignment, you're going to be dealing with lots and lots of formulas here. I guarantee you that. Number 2, find each measure. Assume that segments that appear to be tangent are tangent. Okay, so let me go ahead and pull up the key real fast just so when I'm doing these problems, I have the correct answers. Number 2, find the measure arc TS. Where's TS? So this is TS, and I need to figure out how long that arc here is. So look at the circle. What are we dealing with here? We have a chord situation. When those two chords intersect, you're going to have angles involved. Where's the vertex? Well, the vertex is going to be inside the circle. And if we were to look at this angle, well, remember, we have a segment here and a segment here. They share this point. That's the vertex. And what do we have? We have an angle, okay? And that's also the same case with this angle here. We have a segment here and a segment here. They share this point, and then there you have it. You have an angle. Now, to figure out how long TS is, we need to just look at the angle. So we have this given angle. It's 126. This angle is equal to this arc plus this arc all over 2. Okay, we just look at the angle, and then we look at that angle and see what are the arcs close to that angle, if that makes sense, or like next to, if that makes even more sense. So I have this angle, right? This arc and this arc are the ones that I'm looking at, the same side, if you will. Okay, so one more time. This angle is 126, and that is equal to this arc. I'm going to call that x, by the way. That's our unknown. That arc plus this arc all over 2. Okay? And I got to solve for x. So in order for me to solve for x here, I got to multiply both sides by 2 so I can get this expression by itself on this one side here. So if I'm going to multiply both sides by 2, that's going to be 126 times 2, which is 256. Again, my arithmetic is so bad, I have to use a calculator for this. So 126 times 2, that is, 252. And that is equal to x plus 108. Now, if I were to subtract both sides by 108, that's going to give me what x is equal to. So subtract both sides by 108 minus 108. And x equals 144. So if x is equal to 144 and that's TS, that's what the measure arc TS is. That's 144 degrees, okay? So whenever you have a chord course situation, in summary, your vertex is inside the circle. This is basically the setup you're going to use, okay? It's the angle that is equal to the arc plus arc all over 2. And those two arcs must be basically, how do I, phrase this? It has to be like on the same side of that angle. So if I'm looking at this angles, I gotta look at the arcs across, if that makes sense. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at number 4, the measure angle H. Okay, so this time the vertex is outside of the circle, so the angle is equal to the big arc minus small arc over 2. So measure angle H is equal to big arc minus the small arc all over 2. And I'm going to put 88 minus 26 in the calculator. So that's 62 over 2. So 62 divided by 2 is 31. So the measure of angle H is 31 degrees. Okay? And then number 6. Okay, you have the angle. You have the angle 36. But first of all, before we think about that, where's the vertex? The vertex is outside, yes. So the angle is equal to this arc minus this arc over 2. But you're trying to figure out what LP here is, right? So it's actually, we're going to call that arc X. So use the given and create your equation that looks similar to this and then solve for the desired variable, okay? Number 8 should be number 2. Number 10, what's number 10? JMK. Okay. Awesome. So this is probably what I'm going to do. If I can figure out how long this angle here is, right, then I can just use the definition of linear pair to figure out how long that angle that we want to find, okay? So suppose that this angle here is x, okay? So if that angle there is x, well, it's x equal to, okay, we're just going to look across, right? Where the arc's located should be across or going through this line, or I don't know if I should say go through, but basically what I'm saying is just they're on the same side, right? So here is the angle, and if I were to go across through that angle, we're dealing with this arc and that arc, okay? So x equals 79 plus 77 all over 2. So I will do 79 plus 77, and then I divide by 2. So x equals 78 degrees, okay? And then you're not done, by the way. So let's call this, so we know that this is x. We called that x, but we figured out that this angle here is 78 degrees. Now, I'm going to draw an arrow. That means that these angles here add up to 180 degrees. This is what we call a linear pair. So it's 78 plus what equals 180, or you can do 180 minus 78. So 180 minus 78, and that's 102 degrees. And what does that mean? That means that measure angle JMK is 102 degrees. Alrighty, here we go. Number, what do we want to do here? 12, 14, I'm thinking. I figure that number 12 is easier because we've dealt with inscribed angles before, okay? We talked about, or have we talked about inscribed angles before? No, we haven't, right? Sorry. I'm getting mixed up with something else. The measure of angle K, right? So if you have a circle. No. We've done something like this before. My bad. So 10-1. Remember, when you have an inscribed angle, right? If you have an inscribed angle, the angle, to figure out this angle here, it's 1/2 of the intercepted arc. Okay, yeah, now I do remember. We did something similar to that on 10-1. So I think you can figure out number 12 on your own. Number 14, I'm going to go ahead and do with y'all. Because this arc here is 154 degrees. Okay? And you know for sure that a circle is 360 degrees. So to figure out how long this arc here is, I gotta do 360 minus 154 first. So 360 minus 154, that's 206 degrees, okay? So this here is 206 degrees. So great, how do I figure out measure angle ABD? So ABD. So to figure out this angle here, it's 1/2 of 206. Okay, that's the answer. And then what's GJF? So GJF. Okay, that's my major arc here. Oh, sweet. So right here, that's like a linear pair. So 82 plus what is equal to 180, right? If I know what this angle here is, you take this number and you multiply that by 2 to figure out how long the measure of this arc here is, okay? That's pretty much the play. You have to understand the definition of linear pair. And then number 26, that's the, angle is equal to big minus small over 2, or sorry, big arc minus small arc all over 2, and that's 28 as well. Number 1, find the circumference of a circle with radius 9. Okay, what's the circumference of a circle dealing with the radius? Well, y'all, the formula that I know that involves the radius when it comes to the formula of the circumference, that's C equals 2 pi r, where r is the radius. So C equals 2 times pi times 9. I'm going to multiply the 2 and the 9 together. So that's C equals 18 pi. Do not multiply the 18 and pi. Leave your answer in terms of pi. We want the exact answer. I don't want you to multiply by 3.14. Okay, 18 times pi, or 18 pi, is essentially exact. Okay, and that's what we want. Number 2 says, what is the radius of a circle with circumference 22 pi? Okay, so let's see. So we're dealing with the radius here. So you're not going to be using C equals pi d. Don't do that. You're going to be using C equals 2 pi r. You want to involve the radius. Given the fact that you know what the circumference is, you're going to replace C with 22 pi, and you're going to equal that to 2 pi r. Okay, look back at your notes. You're going to go ahead and solve for the desired variable. We're going to figure out what r is, okay? So do that on your own, and then you should be golden. Check the answer key to see if you are correct, because this problem is essentially working backwards, okay? We're so used to giving you the formula and giving you the, the specific, number to work with to figure out what the circumference is. But you're going to be figuring out, we're going to give you the circumference, like what's the actual circumference, and then you're going to figure out what the variable that we want, if that makes sense, okay? So that's number 2 for you. Number 9 is, this is going to require you to, go back to the, previous units. It says number 9, the right triangle shown is inscribed in circle D. Find the exact circumference of circle D. Okay, you're given the fact that this here is a right triangle. So if this is my right triangle, okay? We have 8, 12, and then, okay, this right here, we know that D is the center point, and that this here is a chord, and that chord is going through that center point D. This is the diameter, okay? So this here is the diameter. All right. How do we know this is the diameter? Because, how do I know that D is the center point? Well, because it's called circle D, and to name a circle, we look at the center point. So, you got to apply the Pythagorean theorem for this one. We have a right triangle. We're given two side lengths. I'm going to call this A, and I'm going to call this B. So therefore, my diameter is going to be C, right? So A squared plus B squared equals C squared. A is 8, so I have 8 squared plus B is 12, which is 12 squared, and C is the desired variable, so we're going to write C squared. 8 squared is 64, plus 12 squared, that's 144. So I have 64 plus 144, that's 208, which is equal to C squared. And then, oh my goodness, what are we going to do? Well, we're going to have to take the square root on both sides. So let me go ahead and trying to think, because now what we're going to do is we're going to simplify the radical. Okay, so we have the square root of 208 equals C. So I would say 104 times 2, and then this would be 52 times 2, and then let's see, 52 divided by 2 is 26. Oh, I'm probably going to have to move this over here. So I can break down the 52, that's 26 times 2, and then 26 is, I'm going to break that down, that's 13 and 2. All right, I have a pair of 2's here and a pair of 2's there, so I have, let's write this over. C equals 2 times 2 root what goes inside of the radical, that's 13. So C equals 4 root 13. So C is equal to 4 root 13. Okay, so that's the diameter. So 4 root 13. All right. So it says find the exact circumference of circle D. Y'all remember circumference formula. Since we have the diameter, we're going to use the C equals pi D formula, not C equals 2 pi r. C equals pi D. We know that the diameter is 4 root 13, okay? So C equals pi times 4 root 13. You need to remember, you multiply the coefficient to coefficient, and then you multiply the radicand to the radicand. This is not a radical, it's actually a number. So you actually multiply this by that, not this with that whatsoever. So we need to leave this in terms of pi, so it's actually 4 times pi. So it's 4 times pi root 13. And what are the units? Do we have units here? Centimeters, good. So we're going to call that centimeters. There you have it. Okay. And then let's see. I'm going to, whoa, what the heck? What's going on with the numbering? Is this is 28, this is 30, and this is 32. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to let you figure out how to, sorry, let me rephrase that. I'm going to let you figure out the radius and circumference for each of them, okay? It's going to require you a little thinking. This here, okay, you have a right triangle. What do? And then this. Okay, for number 28, all you have to do is look at this side, which is 9, and then this side over here, that's 5. And I'm trying to figure out the diameter, which is a chord where the endpoints are on the circle, and that same chord goes through the center of the circle. So now that I have a right triangle, so what do I do here to figure out the diameter? And then with this one, okay, we have a square. This is 25. I hope, okay? By the way, I hope I didn't call this 30 just 2 seconds ago. This should be 32. Okay. Find the length of arc ZY, round to the nearest hundredth. Okay, good. So we're gonna round to the nearest hundredths here. Okay, whenever you're asked to find the length of arc ZY, you gotta recall the arc length formula. So arc length, we're gonna call that L. So to find the arc length, it's L equals x over 360 times the circumference, 2 pi r. Okay? So, what do I do? Okay, let's do A together. So again, I have L, which is the arc length, equals x over 360 times 2 pi r. And if I wasn't clear enough, I'm sorry. X is basically this, the central angle. It's the central angle out of 360 degrees times 2 pi, the radius. So L equals, so 75 over 360 times 2 pi, the radius, which is, do 75. So I do L equals, okay, so I'm going to do 75. First of all, let's do this. 2 times 4 is 8. So it's 75 over 360 times 8. And then you slap on the pi. Do 75 over 360 on your calculator. Then you're going to multiply that by 8. So you should have 0.208333333, right? Multiply that decimal by 8. So just press the multiplication button and then 8. Okay, so on your calculator, you should have the decimal, and then underneath that, you should have answer times 8. Press enter, and you should get like 1.666 blah 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 blah. That's where you're gonna go ahead and convert that decimal into a fraction. Now press math, enter, okay? And you should get, something like L equals 5/3 pi. And that is your answer. Okay? On the key, it would say 1.67. Oh, yeah, that's right. We need to round to the nearest hundred. So if it was in decimal form, you would just write 1.67 pi. Okay? You don't multiply the pi whatsoever. Make sure that you just slap on the pi. The decimal that we put in the calculator earlier is what you're going to round, and then you're going to slap on the pi. Okay? B you can do on your own, and this says find the length of JK, round to the nearest hundredth. It's the same thing as what we just did before, okay? All right, I hope this homework help video does help. So if you have any questions, just make sure that you come to tutoring and get that help that you need, or you can ask in class, okay? Thank you, and I will see you next time.